Hello everybody, welcome to the channel and thank you so much for being here today. I have just had a delivery and I could not wait to get cracking with what has just come. So what I thought I would do is I'm going to show you what's come and then I'm going to try it, compare it with a similar product and see how we get on. Now in a recent haul video you will have seen these gelatos and this white acrylic gesso. Now I haven't used this yet, but I have used these and I have been loving these, but it started a new obsession with me because now I just want more. So these range on Amazon and other online shopping places from 20 odd pounds all the way up to, I think the most expensive I saw was about £85. And yes, I would like some more, but I'm not paying £85. So I was recently on Amazon trying to get over the free delivery bit because I don't do Prime, and I saw these. So these are supposed to be water soluble. They're wax crayon type things, which I think is basically what these are. So what I thought I would do is in a minute we're going to open this up and have a look, then we'll compare the two side by side, and then we'll start using them and see how they compare. Now I'm also going to be trying out this gesso that I bought from the works, and I've got my good old white gesso from Paper Craft Society, which I've been using a lot and it's starting to run out a bit, which is why I needed a new one. So we will have a compare and contrast and see what we think. So the first difference between the two is for 20 something pounds I got 15 sticks. For £15 I get 36 sticks. Let's get this box open and have a look at what's inside. The packaging is also very, very different. These are in more of a carry case box, whereas these are in a sliding out case. Now, the only thing I will say is this is all in German. Now, I haven't spoken German since GCSE year? No, before GCSE. I think I dropped it for GCSE and took French. So I haven't got a hope in hell's chance of telling you what this says. There are pictures, luckily. But if they're like gelatos, I've kind of got half a clue now. So we'll see. Now, I do really like this box. I'm not going to lie. I actually prefer this to how the gelatos come. And let's have a look. Okay, well, a load of them have fallen out of place in transit, but it's not the end of the world. They kind of look like lipsticks to me. That's what they remind me of. They're more lipsticky than the gelatos were. They seem bigger as well. Let's get a gelato out. But that might just all be handle. No, so okay, so I think they are the same size-ish. They might have a very negligible amount more in the top, but you just get more of a wind for the handle, whereas the gelatos wind on this bit. I don't know if the product goes all the way down into that handle. I guess we'll see as we go if we're able to see, but that's the first thing that strikes me. So I like the colour range. It's a really good colour range. It's covered pretty much every base. Now these are more solid colours, whereas my gelatos were iridescent. So I'm also going to be looking to see if I can blend the two together. So let's get prepping the paper. So I've cut 4 pieces of paper. This isn't anything special. This is literally just cheap and cheerful cardstock from the pound shop. When I work with my gelatos in my journal, it's not special paper, it's just a cheap traveller's notebook from Hobbycraft. So there is a smooth side and a more toothy side. I think for the purpose of this I'm going to use the smooth side. So what I'm going to do is coat 2 pieces of cardstock in the Papercraft Society gesso and 2 in the gesso from the works. So I'll speed it up while I do that, and then we'll see how we're doing. My initial thoughts on the 2 gessos, the one from the works definitely goes down easier, it spreads easier. It did warp the cardstock a little bit with this one, and when I used less, kind of less is more, it hasn't warped that one. So I'm just waiting to see how quick this one dries, because I know the Papercraft Society one dries really fast. This one feels a little bit more clumpy, but I know that when I start working with it, it's kind of alright. You can see these are nearly dry already. These are the Papercraft Society ones, whereas the works ones, they're still really wet. So I think what I will do is probably start working on the Papercraft Society ones first of all, with the 2 different sets, and then we'll move on to the works gesso when it's dry. I'm going to try and keep everything the same, so I've used the same paintbrush, I've used the same paper, I will do the same colours and the same technique throughout this to see if there is any difference, and then I'll just use these as backgrounds. Now I am no expert, I'm very new to these gelato crayon things, so this is just really for my interest, and I thought it might be useful for other people to see as well. And for what I'm going to be using them for, I'm literally just going to blend them with my finger today. I'm not doing any stenciling or any techniques like that. I'm literally just going to go in with my finger, get nice and messy, and then use a baby wipe to clean myself off at the end. So let's see how they stand up against each other and how the different gessos stand up to them. Right, so I've got my spray water bottle. I'm just going to move the wet ones out of the way for now. There we go. And actually managed to not drop them on the floor. Okay, let's start with the new ones. These feel nice and dry. See, that's how quick these dry. Right, let's go for this pink here and this kind of purpley one. And let's see how we get on. Now, I don't think there's a seal on them. That is very lipsticky there. And it's got texture. Now that's interesting because the chamber is smooth, but there's actually texture there. But this actually, the tube feels really cheap and nasty. Like the winder feels like it could break, which you don't get that feeling with gelatos. So I'm just gonna scribble here, and if these turn out to be absolute pants, I will just give them to Philippa. Scribble here. So they feel nice and waxy, which is always a good start. A little bit of water, and let's see how they go. That's not bad, you know. Sorry if it's shaking, although those two colours do look very similar. Well, I don't think you could now differentiate, I can't say that word, but I'm sure you know what I meant, between the two. But that did work really nicely. It'd be interesting to see how that dries off. I don't know if I'm imagining it, but it kind of feels like there's a slight sheen to that. But it has gone really translucent, so it'd be interesting to see what happens when that's dry, whether you need to do any more. So let's try and grab some kind of similar colours from the gelatos. We've got this pinky colour, and that's kind of a deep purple. I use those two. So right now I'm not trying to blend them together. I just want to see how they go down on the gesso. So I know this gesso is fine with the gelatos because I've used it before, but keeping everything fair for when we get onto the works one. Now they do feel different putting them down actually. These ones, the gelatos, they feel thicker. I don't know really how to describe the feeling, but they just feel like, well, thicker. Let's just give it a spray. And they're definitely more pigmented, and yet these are supposed to be like the iridescent ones. But you can already see, I mean, I've just merged the colours totally together. So the gelato is definitely the better quality, I would say, out of the two. But that's not to say that the cheaper brand aren't going to be okay for what I'm using them for. Let's just grab a baby wipe out and clean off my fingers. Okay, so first impressions, I mean, they are water soluble, they do what it says on the tin. You can definitely tell there's a difference in the quality. These ones feel nicer to use, you get a better coverage. These are supposed to be iridescent, whereas that looks more translucent, and they're not supposed to be translucent, I don't think. So what I want to do now is see if I can blend them together. I think maybe we'll just try the purples. What do you think? So we'll grab this one. So let's put purple up here. Yeah, this just feels like, I mean, you can tell it's wax, but it's too slidey. There's no real friction going onto the page when you use it. Whereas when you scribble with the gelato, it's like there's, I don't know if friction's the right word, but you can feel the difference. Like, it doesn't slide as much. I mean, they are pretty similar colours. So do those ones. Let's see how they react together. And let's see. I've just grabbed a different, maybe darker purple. It's definitely got more blue in it because I do want to see if they will merge together. And put this one down here. I mean, even when they're down on the paper, I don't know if you can see, there's the waxy glaze there, and you haven't got it with this one. Let me just put this one at the top and maybe you'll see. See, it's more matte, whereas that's more almost watery, oily. So let's see if I can blend these together. Let's see if they work together. Probably used far too much water there, but never mind. I mean, for what I want to do with them, I think they're going to be fine. I'm not disappointed at all. But I thought it would be really interesting. Oh, now that is interesting. Look, can you see? That's left a load where I scribbled. I don't know if it's picking up. It's not blending out as good or as well. Sorry, my English there was terrible. Whereas the gelatos, literally, it all moves. That's really dried. That wasn't great. Oh yeah, there's definite, you can really see it there, look. It leaves a layer behind, so it doesn't all blend. You can literally see where I've scribbled, whereas with the gelatos, I'm just going to spray this pink again because it hasn't, it's gone dry already. Literally all of the gelato moves. You don't get anything left behind. But you do with that. That's a bit annoying, if I'm honest. That is really quite annoying. But do you know, they were £15 as opposed to 20 something. But you can say. Let's really spritz this paper and see if we can get them moving a bit. Yeah, even when you add more water, that base layer doesn't go. That's really frustrating. I don't think they blend as nicely as the gelatos either, so I think they will have to be single colour use in my journal. Oh well, live and learn. It's not the end of the world. I will definitely have gelatos on my wish list for a while, I think. Maybe Christmas or birthday, maybe. Okay, well, I definitely prefer the gelatos. I think the pink you can't really see as much as you can with the purple, where it's left some behind. But it's definitely there. Where's the gelato? Yeah, okay. Okay, moving on. Let's see if the other one is dry. Right, so far one is dry, well, almost dry. Right, I'll make a cup of tea and hopefully by the time I come back it'll be dry. Right, okay, so this experiment now is not necessarily about the gelatos versus the cheaper version. This is more to see how the gesso stands up. So this is now the gesso from the works. So let's see how they move on that. And actually it'd be interesting to see if the cheap ones still leave that mark behind. So let's start off with the same ones we did last time. So we use this one first. These are harder to pull the lids off of as well, just worth mentioning. And the gelatos actually come with a brush and 2 different sponges, whereas these ones you're just getting the product. Let's have a look and see. Oh, now that's interesting because that's actually moving quite nicely. On the darker one it's still left a mark behind, but it's not moving too bad. I quite like the coverage on that actually. I think that's nicer than the Paper Craft Society ones, although that's immediately gone wet on my fingers, the gesso, which is a little bit annoying. I would say the gesso from the works is also more painty smelling than the Paper Craft Society one. You can definitely smell the acrylic paint more, but I don't really mind that so much if I'm honest. Let's see how these ones move on it and then we will try blending them together. Okay, so they definitely move nicer on the gesso from the works, so I'm happy about that because that was a big tub if I hadn't liked it. So for £5 I'm a happy bunny. As I say, I am only a beginner, but if you're a beginner like me and you want a cheap pot of acrylic gesso, definitely the one from the works is a winner. Right, let's see how that other piece of cardstock is doing. Is that dry? No, it's still wet. Okay, that is a little frustrating that it takes so long to dry. You can heat set it with your heat tool, but I just don't really like doing that. And now it's drying, the warping is going out of the cardstock. So I'm going to leave it a little bit longer to dry and then we'll try blending the gelatos with the cheaper product and see if there's any difference on the gesso from the wax. So I became Little Miss Impatient Pants and decided to heat set it with my heat tool in the end. So let me see if these will blend with the gelatos any better on the works gelato. Kind of also thought if I didn't put such a concentrated amount on the paper, maybe it would move easier. So I want to try and avoid that ugly like staining. So I hope everyone has found this interesting or useful, maybe giving you some ideas. Right, let's have a look. These ones are the gelato ones. No, see, it's still not moving. You can really see quite badly where I've scribbled. I mean, on the back of the packaging for the cheap ones, to be fair, it does say you're supposed to use like a paintbrush or sponges, but you know what, I don't really want to do that. I like using my fingers for blending. I just find that works better for me. But you can totally see where I've scribbled. I mean, in a journal page, yeah, I could hide that with a sticker or something, but that's annoying. Very, very annoying. So I think I will play with these some more. They don't blend into the gelatos nicely as well, I don't think. They just lose their pigment and the gelatos swallow them up because the gelatos are so pigmented. So the cheaper brand kind of gets lost. So I think it's going to have to be one or the other and not together, which is frustrating because I would have liked to have used them together. But it is what it is. So these ones over here are the ones with the gesso from the works, and these ones are the Paper Craft Society gesso. So I was trying two different things with this experimental video. I was testing out the gesso and I was testing out the actual product. From my own point of view, definitely the works gesso I'm happy with. I would recommend it, especially if you're a beginner like me. The Paper Craft Society one was nice. It was good to get started with. It was a very small pot because obviously it came in the subscription box, but I don't think you can rebuy that. I've not seen that available. So I'm very happy that I invested in the gesso from the works. I also think that both products move nicely on it, so I don't have a problem with that at all. With regards to the actual products, I would say the cheaper ones will probably be fine for what I'm going to use them for. I will definitely play around a bit and see if I can work out how to not get this horrible marking from the where you lay them down. If you're just starting out like I am, I mean, you get 36 for £15, so you do get a lot. However, I would still say spend the extra £5 or whatever and get the pack of 15 gelatos. You get a good range of colours in there and they're really, really pretty. They do cover off most eventualities, and I just think they're the nicer product to use. They're definitely a better quality. With regards to the packaging, I definitely like that these ones come in the storage box. This sleeve, I mean, it's functional. I don't know how people store them. Maybe people take them out and store them in a pencil case or something. I don't honestly know. Personally, I'm keeping them in there. But I do quite like the box. However, when you spend a little bit extra, you also get the paintbrush and 2 sponges. Whereas with this, all you're getting is your base product and a box to keep them in. I wouldn't say I'm disappointed. I'm maybe a little bit surprised. And you definitely get what you pay for, I would say. As I said, I am going to play around a bit more with the cheaper brown ones. I'll use a paintbrush, I'll use some sponges, and if I find a way to stop the marking like this, I will come back and let you know what I found out. Literally, I've bought both these products with my own money. I'm not sponsored by either of these, and this is literally my own opinion of both the products. I've got nothing to gain by liking one or over the other. I actually really wanted to love both of them, but I think the gelatos just about do it for me. So I will definitely be investing in more gelatos in the future, and as I build my collection of those, the cheaper ones, if I'm honest, will probably go to Philippa to play with. But for now, I'm going to keep them and play with them. So I hope you have found this video useful. If you have gelatos, let me know what you think of them. If you found a cheaper product that's just as good, definitely let me know. And let me know what you think of the gesso results as well. Were you surprised? Were you not surprised? I'd be really interested to hear. So leave some comments down below and let me know what you're thinking. Thank you so much for watching today. I really hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll be back soon with more videos. So until then, take care and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.